Hey guys, welcome to the channel. As you see in the thumbnail, what if Naruto got married and pregnant Ino Uzumaki? Before I start, please do support for more awesome content, and subscribe my channel and like this video. Go support and follow the Baddest king for writing that awesome fanfic, and also make sure to comment on this story. Link in the description. New start, new home. It was just another ordinary sunny day with the sun beaming down on the black truck diving down the road with the Uzumaki family inside, anticipating the new house Mr. Uzumaki had just bought for his loving wife and loving son. It's beautiful, baby, Ino smiled, getting out the big black truck and spotting the house with the for sale sign out on the lawn. The house was a two-storage house with a big porch that had a mailbox next to the steps. It was a light brown with a shade of darkness added to it. The windows were freshly put in, and the GL was sparkling off the sun's ray. From where Ino stood, she would have to take a path with bushes of well-smelled red roses around the walkway. Bought it for you, didn't I? Naruto took the keys out his ignition and stepped out onto the driveway's concrete floor. Let's go, and Naruto walked around the truck to Ino and ate her on the lip before opening the back door to let out a small giggle from the blonde child behind ing, a small brown teddy bear. Come here, Naruto Jr. Ino unstrapped her 2-year-old son off the baby seat he was sitting in. Look at your new home. Ino put her child in her arms and directed him at the wonderful house. After ing her little boy on the cheek and making him let out a cry of joy, the blonde family walked through the path of roses and stepped to the 3-inch porch and stood in front of a white door made of GL in the middle, while the rest was made of wood. It's so beautiful in here. Naruto Ino looked around at the wooden floor that seemed to have been waxed recently. As they walked and they stepped in front of a stairway that was next to the door and curved around to the second floor. Ino walked over to the ginormous space that was a living room while rocking Naruto Jr. in her arms. Wow is all she could think as she looked around more and spotted a chandelier very high up above the living room, where it seemed that it couldn't go any higher, with golden handles keeping up the light bulbs and diamond that hung along the handlebars. Nice sofas. Good choice. Naruto Ino felt the leather brown couch with her right hand and gave it a gentle E. Naruto was already making himself home by taking off his black suit jacket and hanging it on a wooden holder on the right of the entrance door. I had some guys fix this place up real good for a pricey amount. Naruto motioned it by rubbing his thumb and pointing finger together. But it was worth it for my wife and son. Naruto chuckled and walked over to Ino and gave her aid to the cheek, then threw himself on the large leather couch. And the carpet's nice as well. Ino slipped off her silver high heels and placed her foot on the warm fuzzy white carpet. The whole house had colors, the mix of whipped cream and chocolate syrup. The living room they were in was connected to 2 hallways, one small hallway leading to the kitchen, while the other led to a bathroom. I'm going to see the kitchen. Here, hold him. Ino handed over their son to Naruto, and he placed him on his chest while tickling his belly. As the blonde walked into the kitchen, she saw the white marble floor to be sparkling with the sun's light. There were a row of cabinets that were similar to the color of a fresh new peach. They were as well made of marble. A GL table stood in the middle of the huge kitchen with 6 seats around its rectangular shape. The sink that stood in front of a small window was completely new, and Ino's reflection looked back at her as she looked into the metallic sink. Plates, bowls, food accessories, you name it, Naruto bought it, and it was all in their kitchen on a large stand on the marble counter that Ino ran her fingers through. I need to see the rooms. Ino ran out the kitchen and ran pet her husband to the stairs that whipped around in a spiral. Once at the top, she saw a long runway walk from the ending of the stairs to a wooden door that was creaked open just a bit to make a squeak. The runway walk was surrounded by a black balcony, and just like downstairs, the floor had white carpet. Making a right, Ino walked a couple of seconds before ending up at a door that was completely white and had a golden doorknob attached to it. She turned it, and her jaw dropped when she saw all the fine decor in what looked to be their room. A large king-sized bed was at the very center of the room, with its black metal headboard up against the wall, and in between 2 large windows that the sun's beam was coming in. The walls were blood red with stripes of black coming down from the ceiling. The bed sheets were the same color as the walls, with the pillows being the same color red, in a shape of hearts. Rose petals covered the sheets, and a sliver stand held a silver plate with a bottle of champagne and 2 GL cups with cubes of ice in them. Oh, Naruto Ino smiled and rolled her eyes, walking over to a dresser that had many types of perfume on it. She looked at herself in the mirror on top of the dresser and noticed that her light gray dress that led to above her thighs had a small feather on it, and quickly brushed off and looked to the right, the corner of the room. A closet? Ino looked over at the same door that was outside the room and turned the knob to find a toilet, and a standing shower on the other side with a small dark red carpet in front of the toilet, and 2 toothbrushes, one yellow, the other purple, in a little red container next to the white marble sink. Naruto's going to get it tonight. Ino smiled devilishly at her naughty thoughts and walked out the bedroom after getting startled by Naruto at the door waiting on her. You scared me. She took deep breaths and walked back to where she started at the end of the stairs. Where's Naruto Jr.? Ino asked, noticing that he didn't have their son in his hands. I put him in his room down over there. Naruto pointed at the door right at the end of the runway walk-like floor. Ino took a look down the balcony and noticed that she could see the living room along with everything in it. Alright, what's up here? Ino walked to the door right down the balcony where the stairs were. The platinum blonde looked at the door that seemed to be old and opened it, leading her to a flight of stairs into the dark. When she reached the top of the stairs, she noticed it was completely empty with wooden floor that looked unstable and a ceiling in the shape of a triangle. The attic. Naruto made her jump again. He watched as she walked down the wooden floor and noticed her high heels began to shake. Ino, come back. The floors up here are still a little shaky. One bad move and it can all come down. Naruto warned his wife, who was now walking back to him slowly, afraid to fall 3 floors down. Let me check out Naruto Jr.'s room. Ino smiled at her man and placed a hand on his face and at him and made her way down the steps with Naruto behind. Both blondes were now back from where they started, the end of the stairs. Ino turned to right and noticed that the balcony and floor were in a shape of a cross. Hopeful he's sleeping so we can have. Naruto stopped once he saw the look on his wife, who hit him playfully on the chest before walking into her son's room. You outdone it in this room to Naruto. I'm impressed. Ino at him again and looked around at the small room that was the color orange with a dark tin mixture. A baby crib was at the corner of the room with orange sheets and a sleeping boy in it holding on to a pillow and his teddy bear he gripped while his eyes were shut closed. He always did looked a lot like his father with the full set of blonde hair and baby blue eyes. Thank you for everything, baby. Ino hugged her husband and made her way around the toys sitting on the white clean carpet. Before leaving, she closed the orange curtains on the one window next to his crib so the beam of light would escape in. Mrs. and Mr. Uzumaki walked down the hall with their fingers interlocked. Why don't we try out new bed out? Ino said seductively as they stopped in front of their room. You read my mind. Naruto pined her up against the door and began ing her piantly, exploring each other's mouth with their tongues. Wait, Ino said through moans as she opened the door and leaped back onto Naruto with her wrapped around his waist and her arms around his neck. Naruto pushed himself on top of her as he began taking off his dress shoes and socks and going back to locked with Ino and began sliding up her dress with his hands. He had her cheeks and slapped the right cheek, making her jump and moan with pleasure. Naughty boy. Ino rolled her body on top of his and began to unbuckle his belt that was attached to his dress and slid them off, leaving him in his dress shirt and black tie. Let's test out this bed. Ino smiled at him seductively, and for the rest of the night, the married couple made love in their brand new home. Baby, wake up. It's time for you to go to work. Ino woke up to Naruto's alarm clock he had placed next to the bed on a small drawer that had a pitch black color to it. MMPH. Naruto mumbled as he had his arm around Ino and forcefully lifted his body and looked over at the clock that read 8:33 a.m. Damn, I overslept. Naruto quickly got up and saw the look Ino was giving him while biting her lip. He noticed it was because his morning wake up. Seems like someone woke up excited. Ino giggled and grabbed her blue cotton robe that was hanging on a wooden stand at the side of the door, and wrapped the robe's rope around her waist, and made herself over to her husband, who was putting on his black cotton robe and placed it on his warm. Morning. Naruto flashed a smile to her before disappearing behind the bathroom's door, and began to brush his teeth in the marble sink with Ino right behind him with her blue toothbrush in hand. I'm going to get breakfast ready, Ino announced as Naruto got a business suit ready for work and she walked out the room to check on their son in his new room. As she approached the door, she heard silence, which meant he was sleeping tight. She held the door knob and turned it to have the sun blast its light in her eyes. Good morning. Ino put her hands over the crib and smiled down at her baby, who was hugging the teddy bear with a weak grip and some saliva hanging down his lower lip. She stroked her hands over his fuzzy blonde hair and got a slight movement as a response. The blonde female slowly walked out the room and headed down the steps. What you making? Naruto walked down the steps with a black suit on with a tint of gray in it, and a blood-red tie to match on his neck. His blonde hair was still kept in a normal fuzzy sort of way, and on his feet, that were the same matching color as his suit dress shoes. It's getting late. I have to be in my office around 9. and it's 8:45. Naruto looked over at his silver Rolex watch on his left wrist and picked up a piece of bread Ino had took out. But I was about to make eggs and bacon with some bread. Ino pouted her and crossed her arms in a childish motion, looking down at the marble floor. I'm sorry, Ino-chan, I'll call you later, okay? Naruto hugged her at her waist, and she did the same in response and landed on her, as he made his way through the living room and grabbed his leather suitcase next to the door, and smiled back at Ino, who was looking at him with concern but forces a smile for him. Okay, I love you, Naruto. Ino smiled while waving at him as he got in his black tuck and heard him put the key in the ignition and turned it on. Naruto pressed a button on the side door that slid the window down. I love you too, Naruto replied as he put the truck in reverse and drove the tuck out the driveway and onto the road. Before Ino could get another look at him, he was gone into the sunset. Damn, Tsunade's going to have a crown. Naruto drove with speed, trying to get by all the traffic lights. As he drove, he saw a black Lexus near up next to him and saw that the windows were tinted pitch black so he couldn't see, but it didn't matter as he drove past and turned a couple of corners and finally coming to the parking lot's entrance. Naruto looked back through the rear view mirror and noticed the black Lexus still behind him, but ignored it since the person driving it must have permission to enter this parking lot with ID. Morning 10:10. Naruto greeted the girl who had on a blue uniform outfit with two buns on her head, the large square-shaped room she was in. Hey Naruto, looking mighty spiffy this morning. 10:10 giggled and scanned the ID with his picture onto the scanner in front of her, and gave him back the card with a smile. Have a nice day. 10:10 smiled and waved as he drove his truck in slowly. Who is that? Naruto drove slowly, purposely waiting for the person to give 10:10 their card from the rear view mirror. Naruto's eyes glared at the mirror closely as he saw what looked like a female's arm extend from the card and give 10:10 a card ID. 10:10 also seemed to have a small conversation, and the Lexus drove on in. Naruto looked at the tall building before him, standing 20 floors high with GL windows all around the walls of the floors. At the very top read Konoha's Law on a giant poster that Tsunade had made. Naruto just rolled his eyes at the stupid name Tsunade had given her business for lawyers and made his way over at the closest parking spot near the sliding GL doors. The blonde lawyer stood out of his car and stretched his body and closed the truck's door and locking it with his little alarm system on his keys that were hooked onto a metal string. Damn, Naruto slapped his forehead as he walked back over to his truck and unlocked it. Placing his arm in to retrieve his suitcase he had forgot, he noticed the pitch-black Lexus parked right next to him on the other side of his vehicles. Naruto grabbed his suitcase and closed the door once again, and made his way over to the black car and waited for someone to get out, but to his surprise no one came out. The car was off. I guess I missed the driver. Naruto looked at his reflection from the car's window and had a creepy feeling someone was in it, and frowned before walking away and walking through the dark parking lot and into the sliding doors. Hold the elevator, Naruto announced as he ran over to the closing elevator and saw that someone had put their arm between the sliding mechanical door and opened it for him. Where Naruto was the first floor out of the 20. This was nothing more than a long hallway with 4 elevator doors and green marble floor and matching walls with 2 security guards at the sliding doors with police uniforms. Thank you. Naruto looked over at the many people with business suits just like him holding briefcases and coffee in their hands. The blonde male found a spot at the corner of the box room and made his way over with struggle. The floor number Naruto forgot again. This was typical of him to forget and press his floor number 18. But this time he noticed that his number had already been pressed on because of the white light. The number glowed along with the other pressed numbers. That's strange. Naruto looked around and saw not one worker that worked on his floor, so to see his floor number pressed with no one he knew was odd. Ding! The elevator came to a stop at the 17th floor. The doors slid open and one by one the large crown in the elevator started disappearing behind Office's door, and then he was left alone. Oh, so he thought. At the corner of his blue orbs he spotted something pink on the opposite side where he was standing. He looked over and it was a woman with a stack of folders and papers in her hands holding them up. Who's this? He eyes the female up and down as she was exposing her creamy flesh. She had on a pair of gray high heels that strapped to her ankles and let out her toes with a matching gray business skirt that was fitted on her tight and exposed her curves, and her upper chest she had on a gray vest that exposed some cleavage, thanks to the last button being undone, but not much due to her white long-sleeved shirt under it that went down to her. When Naruto's eyes wandered up at the woman's neck and saw her eyes glued to the wall with what seemed a seductive smile on her face like she knew he was watching her. The female's pink hair came down to her shoulder and was straight with not one curl in it, and her small bangs hanging over her green eyes. As the bell rung again, meaning that they were on the last floor, their first contact came. "Oh!" she cried out as her stacks of folders with papers inside them fell from her grasp and scattered all over the elevator's floor, but she immediately got to her knees and started picking things up and placing them in whatever folder she could find. Naruto, not wanting to be a jerk and just leave her there, put his briefcase down and got on one knee to help the girl out by stacking a pile of papers together. She looked up at him and smiled while moving a strand of hair behind her ear. "Thanks a lot," she smiled at him and got to her feet with the stacks of folders in her arms that she held against her chest. "No problem." Naruto extended his arm with a flash of his white teeth. "Pleasure to meet you." Naruto looked at her, who smiled at his hand and shook it slowly while moving her green eyes up to his blue orbs. "Pleasure's all mine." The name Sakura. Sakura shook his hand slowly and grasped the folders against her chest again. "Thanks for the help." Sakura headed out the elevator when he stopped her. "You're new here?" Naruto asked with her back against him. He couldn't see the devilish smile she had on, but he sensed she had it on. "I'm a temp." Sakura turned back around to see Naruto step out the elevator and looked at her quizzically. "A temporary secretary?" Sakura giggled with her beautiful smile still up. "Oh, I see. Well, I'll see you around." Sakura. Naruto kept his smile up and waved as he turned his back to her and proceeded to walk to his office that was around the corner. The whole floor had marble floor just like the first floor, with many drawings up on the walls and silver desks attached with a worker behind it. As he was walking, he noticed that the girl he had met in the elevator was following right behind him. "Are you following me?" Naruto chuckled as he turned around and stopped Sakura in her heels, who had on the seductive smile attached to her face. "Oh no, you see, I'm looking for someone that I'm working for today." Sakura patted his chest and chuckled at his little joke he had made. "Who is that?" he shot back, looking at her juicy that had what appeared to be lip gloss on them. The lights above them were shining down on them and made them sparkle up. "Naruto Uzumaki, you know where I could find him?" Sakura looked around to see as if the person she was looking for was supposed to sum to her and answer the question. "Yeah, I do. He's that way." Naruto pointed in back of her with a serious look he tried to keep but couldn't help but chuckle a bit at his lie. "This is only personal business. But I hear he's a huge hole." Naruto whispered in her ear and both let out a laugh. "But that's just between you and me." Naruto winked as he walked away with a sinister smile on his way to his office. Sakura watched him as he strutted to his office. She turned and headed to a huge counter with a male behind it, but bumped into a woman with a dark blue business suit that had her shoulder-length blonde hair into a small bun behind her head. "Oh, I'm sorry." Sakura jumped, seeing the blonde woman spill some of her coffee cup on her black high heels. It took everything in the blonde boss to not fire her right there on the spot, but she bit her lip as she saw Sakura take out a napkin in her vest's pocket and clean up the mess. "Don't let that happen again," she warned Sakura with a finger to her face. "You're that new girl, aren't you?" The boss raised a brow. "Yes, my name's Sakura." Sakura got to her feet and extended her arm, but to her response just got a crazed look from her new boss. "You must be Tsunade?" Sakura put her arm down and eyed the woman down. "Yes, now have you found Naruto yet?" "He's a couple minutes late, but I'm too busy to deal with that." Tsunade rolled her glowing green emeralds and proceeded to walk back to her main office behind the wooden counter Sakura had spotted earlier. "Wait, can you show me where he is?" Sakura put a hand to her shoulder and stopped her in her tracks. Tsunade once again resisted from firing her right there on the spot due to her touching. "You were just talking to him. His office is right over there." Tsunade's finger pointed at the office Naruto had just disappeared into, and Sakura. Tsunade snapped her back to reality, seeing the sneaky smile she had while looking over to Naruto's door. "Don't ever touch me again." Tsunade rolled her eyes at her and walked away. Hopefully the secretary's only out for a couple of days. So he was Naruto Uzumaki, Sakura thought while making herself over to the empty metallic desk with a white computer on top of it that sat in front of the door that read Ms. Uzumaki. "Real hole, huh?" Sakura saw the blonde come out his office and chuckled at his small prank. "Damn, how you figured?" Naruto laughed along with her and made his way around Sakura, who was eyeing him up and down from his backside while licking her. "You're my secretary today, right?" Naruto noticed all her folders stacked on the metallic desk and sat on top of it next to the pile. "Yes, I am. Your secretary you had here caught the flu and will be out for a couple of days. Hope you don't mind me being your." Sakura circled her thumbs while keeping her eyes glued to his blue orbs. "Secretary?" Sakura added, seeing his raised eyebrows. "I don't mind at all. My last secretary became my wife." Naruto chuckled again at the comment, and saw the small hunger in her green gly eyes. Seems like I came in a little too late, Sakura added, and walked back down the hall while strutting her from left to right, leaving the blonde to wonder what her words had exactly meant. Naruto thought back to the black Lexus that he had seen drive past him on the highway, behind him at the parking lot entrance, and next to his truck in the lot. But before he could go into it further in his mind, his coworker interrupted him. "Sup, Naruto?" A guy in a dark green long-sleeve shirt with a briefcase to his hand, the spiky hair into a ponytail, and a look of boredom on his face nodded his head and took Naruto out his daydream. "Oh, morning, Shika. Didn't see you there." Naruto smiled up at him, noticing that he had just turned the corner where Sakura had disappeared into. "Look at all of this." Naruto pointed to all the folders next to him. "Yeah, I have a couple of cases myself. Speaking of which, who was the new girl in the Y outfit?" Shika raised his eyes with a grin attached to his face, looking back over to see if he could get a glance of Sakura. "You mean my new secretary?" "Her name's Sakura," Naruto replied with a tone of relaxation in it. Sure, your secretary." Shikamaru raised his air quotes with his fingers on the word secretary. "How long she's staying here for? And what happened to Hinata? She's coming back, right?" "Shika, you already know I'm married. She's just my temporary secretary. As for Hinata, I don't know about her, but she's probably just sick, so she should be back this week, and Sakura will leave." He was cut off when he saw the pink-haired worker walk back to the space where her desk was. "Oh, was I interrupting something?" Sakura stopped reading a piece of paper she was reading while walking and looked up at Shika and Naruto talking. "No, you weren't." The name Shikamaru. Shika stuck out his hand and she shook it with her eyes at Naruto. "I hear you're going to be working here a while." "My name's Sakura. And yes, I will be working here a while for Mr. Uzumaki this week." Sakura smiled at him and walked over behind her desk to get the little earpiece they used to communicate trough rooms, and attached it to her ear. "Week?" Naruto asked, trying to keep his surprise away from his tone. "Yes, I just got a call from Hinata." "Was it?" Sakura waited for him to nod and continued. "Hinata told me she'll be out sick this week and I'm going to have to fill in for her. Hope either of you two mind." Sakura smiled at both of them and took her seat. "Excuse me." Sakura looked over at Naruto's back. "My bad." Naruto jumped off the desk and grabbed hold of his doorknob and looked back at Shika and Sakura, who was typing in some things on the keyboard of the computer. "If you need me, Sakura, I'll be in my office. Just call." Naruto pointed to his earpiece, the same as Sakura, and waved at Shika as he made his way over to his office next to his. "Don't worry, Mr. Uzumaki. You're the one that's going to need me. After all, I am your secretary." Sakura looked back up at him and winked at the blonde before he smiled back at her and disappeared behind his door with a look of confusion. Sakura went back to her typing and faked a chuckle. "You're going to need me. I'm going to need her." Naruto thought with his back against the door. Whatever, she didn't mean anything by that. Naruto shrugged it off and went over to his desk to check out any bulletins Tsunade had posted. Naruto moaned out as he took a sip of his coffee mug next to the big screen computer. Just then he heard a knock on the door. "Come in," Naruto ordered. His eyes went wide when he saw Sakura walk in with a bright smile holding a clipboard. "Oh hey, what you came to see me for?" Naruto asked with a fake smile to his face. "To take some notes on what you need done." Sakura eyed the little GL frame on the desk that had Naruto, Ino and their son on it with bright smiles. She raised an eyebrow at it. "Oh yes, take a seat." Naruto saw her take the silver chair in front of his desk and sat on it with her crossed, making her business skirt rise up to show her thighs a bit. He quickly looked away at it. "I see you have a son." Sakura smiled at the picture and looked back up at Naruto, moving a piece of her pink hair behind her ear. "He's quite a looker." She took out her pen and clicked it open. "Thank you, he's 2 years old." Now about those notes. Naruto switched the topic again and saw Sakura give him a look and saw her pull down her skirt to cover her exposed thighs. But it didn't work, the skirt kept pulling up as she moved her higher. "Yes, I was looking at this Christmas party that Tsunade's throwing." Sakura got out her seat and made her way around Naruto's desk and pointed at something on her clipboard. "I see that there's a rule to it." "No spouses?" Sakura asked, trying to get information out of him. "Yes, Tsunade's rule. She said it gets out of control." Naruto spoke while putting up his air quotes on her rule. They both let out a chuckle. "If you ask me." Naruto took another sip of coffee and saw Sakura move closer. "It's all a bunch of," Naruto yelled out as Sakura accidentally dropped the clipboard, causing Naruto to drop his coffee on his lap. He felt the burn between his. "Oh my, I'm so sorry, Naruto." Sakura cried out and took out a piece of blue fabric out her vest and started whipping it between his. "I'm so sorry. Please forgive me." Sakura faked tears beginning to form. "It's okay. I'll get it. Naruto tried to stop her from rubbing between his with her rhythm, and letting his moans escape between breaths. No, it's fine. I'll do it. Sakura felt the bulge sticking out his ass and decided to wipe her at it, but then came to a stop when she heard the door open. Naruto Shikamaru walked into the room and saw what looked to appear wrong and rushed back out the room, closing the door behind him. Damn, on her first day at the job, Shika chuckled and walked over to his office. I guess I can tell him later. Sakura. Naruto raised his voice, making her jump and release her hands from between his. I got it. Naruto moved her back and took the fabric from her hand and started whipping between his by himself, afraid to get up. I'm sorry, Mr. Uzumaki. Sakura put her hands together and looked down, picking up her clipboard and making her way back over to the chair. It's fine, just an accident, right? Naruto wasn't sure, but he could have swore that she had a smile attached to her face when she walked back over to her side, but he wasn't 100% on it. Yeah, accident. Sakura frowned and fanned herself with her hands. That coffee made me hot. Sakura began to unbutton the next button to her vest, exposing her white bra underneath just a little bit. Sakura made herself comfortable in the chair, his skirt rising back up. Naruto spotted her moves again and looked away, hoping she wouldn't see him, so getting back to the notes, Naruto was cut off again by her. Really hot. Sakura smiled at him while shifting her to the side. Can we get back to the notes? Naruto replied back, getting impatient with her actions and mind games. But he had to admit, it was getting pretty hot in here. Whenever you want to get started, Sakura answered back to his question fast, putting the tip of her pen to the clipboard's paper that was attached to it. Are you ready? Sakura asked, raising an eyebrow with the same sinister smile. Let's get started. For starters, that Christmas party's at 8 p.m. on Friday, 5 days from now, Naruto thought, wondering if she was going to be appearing at the party. Got it. Sakura wrote it down, awaiting his next command and pulling her skirt lower to cover her thighs again. And like before, Naruto eyed her carefully. Next, I have to prepare that vacation meeting we're having over at the Konoha Motel on the other side of town. Now that's next Saturday unless Tsunade sends out a memo. Naruto saw her taking notes, and finished writing as soon as he was done talking. She was good. Naruto. The door swung open again, this time slamming the wall behind it. And of course, Tsunade was responsible for it. I see you met our new temporary secretary. Tsunade walked over to them, clicking her heels on the marble floor. Why yes, Tsunade, she's good. Naruto smiled up at her, but she wasn't paying any attention to him. Her eyes were focused on Sakura. Yes, I guess so. How about you, Sakura? Working fine with Mr. Uzumaki? Tsunade asked with a bit of attitude in her voice. Naruto's coffee wasn't the only one she had dropped this morning, and Tsunade wasn't going to forget that. I am. He seems like a bright man, with a great paon to work for you. Actually, Sakura smiled up at the woman, who had a frown to her face and a pair of narrowed eyes. Tsunade thought as she rolled her eyes at the lame speech. Something about Sakura was giving her a bad vibe and she could not wait till she was gone from her building. Alright, that's enough, Sakura. She shut her up. As for you, Naruto, you were late today. Don't let that happen again. She pointed her finger at him and clicked her heels back over to the door and walked out, slamming the door behind her. I guess I'm done here. Unless you want me for something? Sakura stood up and fixed her skirt. The pink-haired female strutted across the room next to the door. No, that's all for now, thanks. Naruto waved her off, but saw that she looked back at him with a smile. Yes? He asked, putting his finger to his chin. Oh, nothing, but if you need me for anything, I'll be right outside on my desk. Sakura fixed the papers on her clipboard and opened the door. When her body stepped outside, her head poked back in. Anything, she said in a seductive way, and closed the door. Hearing what she had said, Naruto coughed in his fist and dialed Shika's office from his keypad next to the keyboard on his desk. Hello? Shika? Naruto spoke into the earpiece. Oh, hey Naruto. I saw what you were doing in there with that new temp. You're the man, Naruto. Shika laughed at his joke and stopped typing his paper he was typing on his computer. But what did you call for? Shika's tone stood serious. Well, I called to ask what was it you came in my office for? Naruto asked, hoping he didn't see much of what was happening with the coffee incident. But unfortunately he did. To ask you if I could borrow some paper. But seeing you get your D. Shika was cut off when he heard Naruto stop him on the other line. Stop it, Shika. We weren't doing anything. You know I'm married to Ino. Besides, she was just helping me with the coffee she had dropped on my lap, Naruto explained, knowing damn well he wasn't going to believe it. But then again, it didn't hurt to try. Sure, it was the coffee. Shika chuckled. And just cause you're married doesn't mean you can't get a little guilty pleasure off her. Shika waited for him to take in his words. We both know you think she's hot, Naruto. Whatever happens behind office doors, it stays between you and her. Me, of course, since I'm your friend, Shika explained, wondering if Sakura was a bad thing to have around here. Quit it, Shika. You know I'm staying faithful to Ino no matter what, even if Sakura do look attractive. Naruto got up and looked out his GL window to see all the cars driving down the road. I just feel she's coming on a little strong. Naruto shrugged. Well, let her do whatever she wants to you. Man, I would kill to be in your shoes right now. Now stop acting like a little girl and get some. Shika chuckled again. Shika, what part of being faithful do you not understand? Naruto's tone became more aggressive as Shika wasn't understanding what he was trying to get through him. Alright, calm down, I was only joking, Shika replied, but both of them knew better. Then if she comes on to you again, just tell her to back off. You do know Ino's coming tomorrow, right? Shika reminded him of the visit he had booked for his wife and child to drop by. I totally forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me about that. Naruto had forgotten about telling his wife and begging his boss, Tsunade, to arrange an appointment so Ino could stop by and spend some time at his office. I'm going to call her right now. I'll see you later, Shika. Naruto clicked the button on the keypad before Shika could answer and dialed the house. Hey babe, Ino spoke into the line. Naruto wasn't there, but he could just sense from the tone of his voice that she had a smile. Oh wait, little Naruto wants to say hi. Ino placed their son on the phone. Daddy, he spoke into the phone while chewing on something. Hey Junior. Naruto smiled at the thought of his family coming tomorrow. Speaking of which, are you still coming tomorrow with him, Ino? Naruto asked, making sure. Yeah, you already know me and our baby wouldn't miss seeing our daddy working. Ino chuckled a bit, getting a tingly feeling run down her body. Can't wait till you get home. Anything new, Naruto? Ino asked as if she already knew. Should I tell her about? No, nothing at all. Still, why Tsunade and funny Shika here with me? Naruto suddenly got hit by something that he was temporarily clueless about. The little earphone that his secretary Hinata used was connected with his line, so whatever he said or the person on the other line said, the secretary could hear it all. And Naruto had completely forgotten who was his secretary, Sakura. Ino, I'll see you when I get home. I have a stack of papers to get to. I love you. Naruto got out of his seat and just like Shika, he didn't give her the time to answer. Did she hear anything? Naruto spoke out loud. Damn, she could hear me. He forgot that if he talked, Sakura could hear him. Naruto slapped his forehead at the conversation he and Shika had earlier about her. Naruto felt he was just paranoid and she was probably off somewhere doing something around the building. But no, he didn't know she was outside his office at the desk with a bright evil smile attached to her face, listening to every single word Naruto and Shikamaru said about her. The rest of the morning, Naruto hadn't had or wanted a chance to see or talk to Sakura. He stood behind the GL of his office, peeking out through the blinds every minute, wondering where the hell was she. Even thought he didn't really need her at the moment. It was still bothering him not knowing her whereabouts. Naruto paced the floor in his office back and forth, wondering what to do now since he only had a couple of papers to do and completed earlier today. He looked over at his digital clock on his desk that read 1:23 p.m. The day had zoomed by him already, and he still haven't seen from Sakura, so he decided to call her up. Sakura, I need you. Naruto spoke into the earpiece, and no more than seconds did his office door swung open with Sakura rushing in with a wide grin attached to her face. This took Naruto under surprise as he expected her to be doing something on a different floor. You called? Sakura chuckled as she saw the startled blonde grasping his chest, trying to calm his heart from beating so fast at her surprise entrance. Sorry about that, Mr. Uzumaki. Can I get you anything? Sakura stepped forward a bit. I was just checking up where you were. I didn't see you out there, so I thought something had happened. That's all, Naruto replied, trying not to meet her gaze and walked behind his desk, just in case she did something on accident again. Sakura covered her small laugh with her palm, then replied, Well, I see you care about me, and it's only my first day here. Sakura chuckled. Thanks for checking up on me, but I was doing something for Shika in his office. Discussing something. Sakura flashed a smile, leaving him to wonder what was she doing with his friend next door. His thoughts were interrupted at the sound of her voice again. Say, you want to get something to eat? Sakura offered, stepping near his desk and matching his blue orbs. I don't. Naruto thought Ino might catch them and you're me the first, and he couldn't have that with his wife. I'm not really hungry, Sakura, but thanks for the of. Naruto was stopped when Sakura made her way over around his desk and pulled him by his arm. Come on. It's my treat, Mr. Uzumaki. Sakura flashed a bright smile back at him while dragging him out the office. As they were leaving, Shika came out his office tucking his dress shirt back in his Where you two going? Shika asked, closing the door behind him, while the two rushed by him with Naruto's worried expression attached to his face. Lunch break. Sakura winked over at him, and continued pulling on Naruto till they were near the elevators. So where do you want to go? Pizza, a hot soup or ramen? Sakura suggested, pressing the down button on the elevator's side wall, awaiting for it like a happy little girl. Doesn't matter to me. Ramen would be fine. Naruto tucked his hands into his pockets, and saw the sliding door open. Both of them walked in, and the doors slid closed. The blonde stood inches away from Sakura, spotting her messing with her shirt. What are you doing? He asked, seeing her look up at him with a sinister smile. This damn bra keeps unclipping. Sakura pointed back with her thumb. Say, Naruto, can you help me a moment please? Sakura pouted her like a puppy dog. This damn Sakura kept fidgeting with the back of her shirt. What you need help with? Naruto asked, already knowing what lied ahead. He saw her hands slowly make their way to the first button of her vest. His body began to sweat. Can you strap my bra back in place, please? We have a lot of time since we're on the 20th floor. Just real quick. Sakura glanced over with an innocent look on her face. Sure, I guess. Naruto shrugged, and he had to admit, seeing Sakura loosen up her buttons the way she did, was turning him on, but he tried to rid his dirty thoughts. Sakura leaned over near the elevator doors and began to slide her vest off to the ground. Just strap it quick. Sakura unbuttoned her shirt she had under the vest, smiling at what she knew was a smile on Naruto's face. Sakura, you sure you want me to do this? Naruto saw her nod her head forward, then looked back up at the numbers counting down from 20 to 1. He had enough time. After all, they were now on the 16th floor, and he was only helping her, nothing more. Sakura moaned as she felt his warm hands slide down her shirt slowly, leaving her half in her black bra. Naruto continued until her shirt was exposing her bra. She held it in place as if she let go, everything would be exposed. Naruto didn't really work well with buttoning bras. When it came to him and Ino in the bedroom, she usually undressed herself, but in this case he was trying to connect the two pieces of plastic together like a puzzle, but her body kept jerking forward at his touch. Oh! Sakura's body bended over to the elevator's walls where the floor number buttons were. Sorry, your hands are just so warm. Sakura chuckled as he was having a bit of trouble. Sakura's rear end was practically in between Naruto's groin area. She could feel his erection bulge out and poke her. She liked the feeling and her fantasies were running wild. Sakura, stand up straight. I can't strap this together unless your back is upright. Naruto felt her between his. Then Ino ran into his head. What would she think if she caught them doing this? What would he say? I was helping her strap her bra. I don't think so. Come on, just do it this way. I don't mind. Sakura bended over farther, sliding her hands down the wall unaware of the buttons she was pressing. The elevator's little noise indicating it was at the proper floor had rang, startling both of them. Get up, Sakura! Naruto whispered in a rushed command, moving her from between his and putting her right in front of her, keeping the shirt in a tight grip so it wouldn't expose her. The elevator doors slid open. Sakura, not completely nervous, stood there with a wide grin while Naruto stood with a worried look, awaiting someone to bust them in the act. Surprisingly, no one was coming, and so Naruto rushed over to the buttons and pressed the close button, sliding both doors shut. Can you help me now before someone thinks something, Mr. Uzumaki? Sakura replied in a sweet, innocent girl's voice. She pretended to slip on her vest that was on the floor and let go of the shield hiding her breast. Sakura! Naruto blushed, glancing over at Sakura's exposed breast for a quick second, then getting down to retrieve her bra and cover her up. Hurry and put this on. Naruto slid the bra back on her and fastened the seat together. I'm so sorry, Mr. Uzumaki. I'm so sorry. You should just fire me now if you like. Sakura rushed to put on her shirt and vest and walked over to the corner of the cramped elevator, burying her face in her palms and pretending to sob. No, Sakura, it's okay. It wasn't your fault. Let's just go get something to eat and forget about this, Naruto replied. Even if he wanted to forget this whole thing hadn't happened, he was never going to forget her beautiful breast. I'm sorry, Mr. Uzumaki. Sakura leaped into his chest, placing her face on his shoulder and wrapping her arms around his neck. I'll invite you to anything to eat. I can't believe this is my first day and I'm already messing things up with you. I bet your wife never did. Sakura broke the embrace and glared at him. She messed up once or twice. Naruto looked away, back up at the floor numbers changing, at number 3. His blue eyes wandered the entire elevator. That's when he came face to face with the small black camera at the corner of the ceiling. he thought, and acted as if he hadn't spotted it. Let's get out of here. Naruto saw the doors open and quickly rushed out the elevator with Sakura in hand. Which car do you want to take? Mine or yours? Sakura asked as he led her to the big truck. Her hands wandered the hood of the car, slowly making her way over the pinga side. Where's your car? Naruto looked around at the different types around, trying to find one that best suited her. This one. Sakura pointed to the black Lexus next to his truck. The same black Lexus that he had seen next to him on the highway. The same black Lexus behind him at Tenten's booth. And now he was realizing the person driving it was her. We'll take mine. Naruto hit the alarm on his car keys and hopped in the driver's seat, watching Sakura slowly slide in the pinga seat and strapping the seat belt around her chest. So where to again? Naruto asked, putting the car in motion and backing up from the parking spot. He drove out the lot with a serious look, replaying the moment in the elevator. Had she done that on purpose? He thought as he drove in silence. Just then he saw Sakura move her hand towards the radio, playing with the buttons. Do you mind? Sakura saw him motion her to keep going on. I love this song. Sakura cheered in joy as she began to dance by herself in her seat to the slow song playing. You like this song, Naruto? Sakura asked, seeing him flash a smile and chuckle, never leaving his eyes ahead of him. I'm in love with this song. Sakura began to rotate her, grinding slowly against the leather seat, moving her hands around her stomach up her chest. Come on, Naruto, dance with me. Sakura took hold of his left arm and began to wave it slow in the air like they were in a real live concert. You think they'll have this song at the Christmas party? Probably. Naruto chuckled and glanced over to her dancing slowly, almost looking like she was trying to seduce him with her moves that were entertaining him. I see you're a really good dancer. Naruto laughed and turned the volume to the radio a bit higher. Yes, Sakura giggled and continued moving to the beat in her seat. This song is amazing, Sakura added. It turns me on. It took those words to snap Naruto back into reality. Naruto coughed then replied, where you said that place was again? Naruto kept his eyes on the road, ignoring her last comment that had ruined the whole moment, if that's what you could call it. 3 blocks up, then make a right, and it's right there. Sakura glanced over at him then smiled ahead, noticing that her words had gotten to him. Feeling this was a good opportunity to bring out what she had heard over the phone, she went for it. So am I doing good being your secretary so far? Why ask? Naruto tightened up his body up. Yeah, of course. Why you ask? He shot back, the thoughts of her actually hearing his conversation with Shika coming to mind. Just asking. I just hope you don't talk behind my back in any way. Sakura bit her lip, keeping herself from laughing at his nervous reaction. I won't do that. Sakura was all he could say. She was listening. He came up with the conclusion on her ear being attached to their talk, and had wondered if he was now a liar to her for saying that right to her. For the rest of the car ride, both remained quietly. Naruto wondering if this is how he was going to spend his first of many dinners with her, right here? Naruto turned a right and parked in front of a large restaurant with bright GL windows and a wide GL door. Yeah. I'm hungry, let's eat. Sakura unstrapped the seat belt then hopped out the truck, with Naruto coming behind the truck and locking it with the alarm on his keys. Wow, this place is fancy. Naruto looked at all the portraits of painters around the entire green and white walls. The clean, shiny white floor sparkled as it had been cleaned recently. His gaze dropped to the red-head waitress in front of them with a blue uniform with a pen and small notebook in hand. Her dark red hair was pulled back into a ponytail. Table for 2. This way she led them over to a small booth at the corner of the room where a small lamp hung over the table connected to the wall. I'll be with you in a minute. She smiled at both of them but saw the glare Sakura was giving her and quickly walked away. So what are you going to get? Sakura opened up the white menu in front of her and began looking at all the different dish of foods the place had. Everything looks good. Sakura looked at him. Oh damn, he had forgot how he had hung the phone up on his wife earlier and decided to give her a quick call. Do you mind if I call my wife? He took out his cell phone and flipped it open and started dialing her digits. Go ahead. Sakura coursed her fingers together and watched him as he put the phone to his ear. Hey honey, I'm sorry for earlier. I was kinda busy. Naruto blushed as when he talked to Ino, it was simply by himself and no one around, but here he was with Sakura in front of him. It's okay, so what are you doing, Mr. Uzumaki? Ino chuckled. I remember when I used to call you that, but now I call you something else, right daddy? Ino burst out laughing. Yeah, his face turned a slight red. What are you up to, Ino-chan? He asked, glancing over at the watch above their table. Just getting something to eat at this new place. Someone told me it was a good place, so I'm driving over there now. Ino smiled at Naruto Jr., taking him out his seat. arriving at her location. It's called Ramen and More, or something like that. Naruto glanced around the room looking for the name of the restaurant. Hold on, honey. Naruto put his palm to the phone, then looked over at Sakura. What's the name of this place, Sakura? He whispered. I'm not sure. Sakura saw his eyes bulge out his head. Naruto? Naruto, what's wrong? She asked, worried about what had caused that look, but she quickly knew what that reason was. Sakura looked down from the reflection of the mirror behind Naruto's seat. The reason was very clear to her, as she saw none other than Ino walking in with their son in hand. This should be fun. Sakura. Naruto covered his face with the menu before him as Ino walked by with Naruto Jr. in her hand, trying to walk. I think we should go somewhere else. I'm not really liking this place. Naruto moved the menu below his chin to lock eyes with her. Why Naruto? Sakura put her chin to the knuckles of her hands. So sudden? Sakura moved her eyes at Ino, who was ordering something at the counter, looking down at the menu the restaurant had. I just don't like ramen that much. Naruto lied through his teeth. I'm not even that hungry anymore. Naruto stood up out of his booth, already reaching for Sakura's arm. Come on, let's go. Naruto pulled her up to her feet. But Sakura tried to keep the smile from crawling up to her face. I'm hungry, and I want to eat here. What's wrong? Someone here? Sakura didn't hide the slight tone in her voice. This had Naruto alarmed. Let's go, Sakura. Naruto ordered, trying to sound quiet and not make a scene. The blonde grabbed her up out the booth and hauled out the corner of the restaurant when he heard something that almost stopped his heart. Naruto! Ino yelled out, stopping Naruto in his tracks. Damn, I'm busted. You made a mess. Naruto Jr. Ino got down on one knee to pick up the small teacup that he had spilled filled with milk. Come here, baby. She lifted him off the ground and faced the waiter again. That was closed. Naruto glanced back to see who was she calling for. At that moment he wished he had named his son something else. Let's go, Sakura. Naruto shoved Sakura out the restaurant and headed towards the truck. What was that about? Sakura yelled as she got in the passenger seat and strapped her seat belt. We didn't even eat. What happened? You don't want to be seen with me or something? She asked as Naruto turned the engine on and drove out the parking spot. No, is not that, Sakura. Naruto took a moment to manage his temper. It's just I didn't really want to eat there. I'm not hungry, Naruto lied, looking straight ahead, avoiding her eyes. Whatever, Mr. Uzumaki. It's okay. If you have nothing to do, just drop me off at the building and I'll take a taxi. Sakura wiped a tear forming at the corner of her green eyes. Please. The car ride back at the office was silent the whole way. Naruto drove in silence while Sakura stared out the window, thinking of her next move with him. He had to admit, Naruto was disappointed how this had ended, but on the good side, he avoided seeing Ino's bad side come out and leash out hell on Sakura. I'll see you tomorrow, Naruto. Nice lunch. Sakura looked at him with teary eyes and a big frown and closed the door behind her. She walked away into the sliding doors of the building, walking in with a huge smile on her face. I need to make it up to her. Naruto rubbed his forehead. This whole thing got blown off out of proportion. And to think, right now he could be enjoying some good ramen soup, but he had better waiting at home. Finally deciding to leave since he had no work on his desk till tomorrow, he drove off home, where he would hopefully find his wife with no clue of what happened. Ino-chan? Naruto opened up the main door of his house and took off his suit's jacket, hanging it on the coat hanger next to it. Ino-chan? Naruto called out again, his voice echoing around the living room. Naruto made his way up the steps, trying to surprise Ino wherever he found her. He opened the door of their room and saw her fast asleep with the same clothes she had on earlier, laid down on the bed with the sheets over her body. She got here quick, Naruto thought, and walked slowly over to her. Hey, Ino. Naruto at her side cheek, seeing her blonde orbs pop up, locking with his. I'm home. I got to leave early since I had no cases to work for that much. I can just do some from home. Naruto at her again, seeing her body sit up. Really? I just got home like 10 minutes ago from ordering food at that place I was telling you about. Naruto Jr. sleeping in his crib. Come sleep next to me. Mr. Uzumaki needs some rest. Ino giggled and saw him make his way over next to her, pressing his body up against her, pushing his groin between her. I'm so tired, Naruto moaned in her ear, and minutes later, Ino was fast asleep again. He wrapped his arm around her waist and shut his eyes down, drifting into the nice warm sleep next to her. Hours later, Naruto awoke to pitch black darkness. What time is it? Naruto sat up and stretched, glancing over at the clock that read 10:42 p.m. Time flies. Naruto yawned and looked over at his wife, who was fast asleep still. He had her cheek once more, then headed downstairs to his office. He had forgotten to mention Ino about next to the kitchen. Naruto walked into his small home office that had a large wooden desk at the corner of it with a steel leather chair behind it. On top of it were pictures of him and Ino along with Naruto Jr. and stacks of papers in a neat pile. Next to it was his black laptop. Naruto walked behind his desk and started hitting buttons on his laptop. He was very well into his work, typing up some paper he had to give Tsunade by tomorrow. He had forgotten to give Sakura the ingment, but due to today's scene, he had nothing on his mind but getting the hell out of the restaurant. Half an hour later, Naruto heard the sound of something stepping on the marble floor. Ino? Naruto looked up at the door to see if she was coming in when he heard another click of a noise hitting the floor. Ino, you there? He stood up behind his desk. His eyes went wide open when he saw her standing at the door, with a slight change in her wardrobe. Lemon removed. Hold on, I got some message. Naruto stroked his member once more and pulled his boxers up before reaching down at his laptop that was blinking. Ino? What are you? Naruto saw his wife reaching for her bathrobe and wrapping it around her body, heading for the door. I guess you couldn't wait until after you were done to check your message. Ino rolled her eyes, annoyed, and headed out the office, fuming with anger. I'll see you upstairs, and we're still going to your office tomorrow, right? Ino didn't wait for a response and walked out the office. Ino, wait, it might be from the office, Naruto called after her, then slapped his forehead. Damn, who the hell could have? Naruto clicked on the link that said open me and couldn't believe what he saw. Temp girl, hey Mr. Uzumaki, I'm sorry for earlier. I'll make it up to you. Naruto's eyes almost popped out his head when he saw that. How'd she get my screen name? He asked himself, eyeing the door just in case Ino decided to change her mind and catch him messaging his secretary. Naruto, you. How did you get my screen name? Naruto's body began to sweat. Just a minute ago he was having wonderful with his wife, and next thing he knew, he here was sweating bullets at the many thoughts running through his head. Just earlier he had almost gotten caught having dinner with Sakura by Ino, and now he was being tested again. Temp girl, I have my ways, Mr. Uzumaki. I'll see you and your wife tomorrow. Have a good night. The blonde male just looked at her message and didn't know whether to feel angry to something else. Just then Ino walked back into the room with a cup of tea. Who messaged you? Ino walked over slowly, seconds before she caught him. Naruto exited out his conversation and shut it down. Naruto ran a hand through his blonde hair. Just Shikamaru, he said to him. Naruto thought of something to say to his wife, who was eyeing him like a hawk. He just said to say hi to you and Naruto Jr. that he can't wait to see you and him again. Naruto tried to force a smile for her. Me too. It's been so long since I worked as your secretary. Ino smiled and at his bare chest. Let's go upstairs and finish up what we started. Ino moved her body up against his and walked out the office, leaving Naruto there looking down at his member that had gotten soft thanks to the stress Sakura caused. I'll be right there, Naruto shouted and walked around the desk to get his clothes. Tomorrow was going to be some day for Naruto. Ino was bound to meet Sakura one way or another, but he just couldn't do nothing but hope Sakura wouldn't do or say anything to ruin his marriage with the love of his life. Something just told him she was up to no good. Are you sure I look nice enough? It's been a while since I've been in the office, and I want to get a good lasting impression. Naruto. Ino fixed her tight blue jeans and straightened out her long-sleeve white shirt that exposed some cleavage due to the buttons undone. Yes, Ino, you look amazing. No one's going to judge you anyway. Naruto chuckled and shook his head, keeping his eyes connected to the road ahead of him. The large truck made a turn and there was Tsunade's building at the corner. Naruto remembered what had happened the night before. Sakura. Naruto, are you sure? Ino asked, awaiting an answer, but all she got in response was silence and 2 blinks from the blonde. Naruto. Ino hit his shoulder, making him jump and turn his attention to her. Did you hear me? Ino asked, crossing her arms. Are you too busy looking at her? Ino looked over next to him to see a blue truck with a red-haired woman behind the wheel smiling back at Ino. Ino stuck up her middle finger up at the woman, who looked shocked, then sped off into the next street. I told you already, Ino, you look beautiful, okay? Don't cause scenes like that at the office with anyone. Even thought he really meant Sakura. Naruto drove in silence almost to the office when he had another strange feeling, as if someone was watching him. What's wrong? Ino asked, seeing the worried look Naruto gave. She looked over his shoulder again to see a black Lexus driving up near the side of their truck. What's wrong, Naruto? You look scared. Is it another? Ino's jealousy was coming up again. Naruto saw what she was looking at, the Lexus. His heartbeat started to race again, so with that, Naruto distracted Ino's attention. Start waking up, Naruto Jr. Naruto looked at his son from the mirror to see him awakening himself, stretching his little arms out. Hey Tenten! Naruto drove up to the booth where Tenten flashed a smile towards the married blondes. Ino's visiting with Junior today. Naruto sat back so both the females can talk up a small conversation. Morning Mr. and Ms. Uzumaki. How have you been, Ino? Been a while since you came up to see us again. Tenten looked at Ino and observed her beauty, seeing nothing has changed since 4 years ago. You look really pretty. Thanks, you're doing good yourself, Ten. I miss all of you except Tsunade. She's still the same? Ino chuckled awaiting Tenten's response, but she saw that a camera was over her. Tsunade probably listening to her. Don't answer that. I bet I already know. Naruto put the car in drive again. Nice seeing you again, Tenten. See ya soon. Ino smiled along with a wave and the truck drove in. Naruto had noticed the black Lexus right behind us. I'm going to park here. Naruto chose the closest parking spot near the sliding GL doors and parked the car, turning off the engine and opening his door quickly. Naruto was about to close the door when he saw Ino's look of confusion. What? Don't you park over there? Ino pointed to the spot where a car was parked next to it, the black Lexus. The blonde saw Naruto shake his head slowly. Yeah, you do. I used to work here, Naruto. Unless Tsunade changed the rule. Your parking spot is over there next to that black car. Ino waited a second before going on, seeing the door of the black car open and a long creamy leg with a black and dark green heels stick out. On second thought, let's park here. Ino hopped out the car and proceeded to watch the woman get out the black car in slow motion. Ino was interrupted when Naruto distracted her purposely. Naruto called out before Sakura's entire body was exposed. Get Naruto! Naruto closed his door and rushed over to the other side to help Ino. Let's go! Naruto ate her on her cheek and closed the door once she saw Naruto Jr. in her arms. He glanced over one more time to find Sakura gone. Damn, what's taking this elevator so long? Naruto thought, awaiting the elevator as he heard it coming down slow. The real thing on his mind was escaping Sakura down here if she was still here. Naruto was fixing his blue suit when the bell rang and the steel doors slid open. Come on, Ino! Naruto rushed Ino, who was holding their son in her arms inside the small room. He pressed the close button rapidly as he heard the noise of clicks coming down the hallway, coming from Sakura's high heels. What's the rush? Ino narrowed her eyes at him, who was now resting up against the wall. I'm going to be late, he lied. No, you're not. We have like 10 minutes to go. What's wrong, Naruto? Ino moved in closer to him, meeting his gaze and his softly. Relax, okay? Everything's going to be okay. You're not going to get fired cause of me. Ino smiled. Yeah. I know, even thought that was far away from what G was thinking of. The elevator managed to get up on the 20th floor, the steel doors opened up and Naruto could breathe in fresh air again. Okay, let's go to my office. I have some things to check up on. Naruto guided Ino down the hallway with his hand on her hip, Ino greeting all the familiar faces, smiling and waving at her as if she were a celebrity. Hey Shika! Ino ran over to Shikamaru, who was in a state of shock when he saw Ino wrap her arms around him and give him a tight hug. It's been a long time, Shika. How you been? Ino moved back to see Shika in his baggy suit, slouching over with his hands in his pockets. I've been good, Ino. You still look as nice as I saw you before. Shika chuckled and looked over Ino's shoulder to see Naruto holding Naruto Jr. in his arms. Oh, look at the proud father. Shika chuckled and walked over to Naruto, who handed him his son. Cute baby. Wonder where he gets his looks from. He gave Naruto a dirty look and chuckled more, giving the small child aid to his forehead before handing him over to Ino. I'll be in my office typing some papers. If you need me, I'll be here. Shika waved, then disappeared behind the office door, leaving the two blondes alone next to the secretary desk. Wanna have some fun, Naruto? Ino replied in a seductive voice, moving closer to Naruto and him on his soft, squishing Naruto Jr. between both of them. Actually, this is what got us, Naruto Jr. Let me stop. Ino chuckled and went over to Naruto's office, opening the door and stepping inside. Give me Naruto Jr. Ino took the blonde from Naruto's arms and placed him on a chair where he saw ing on his fingers and observing the room he was in, completely confused. So what are you going to be doing today? Anything I can help in. Just as Ino was about to finish her sentence, the pink-haired female walked in wearing a green business skirt with a matching blouse, and the same high heels Ino had noticed earlier. Sakura had a sinister look on her face. I don't think so. Hi, Mr. Uzumaki. Can I get you anything? Sakura clicked her high heels inside his office and smiled at the two blondes, looking at Naruto and closing her eyes to slits at Ino. Good morning, Sakura. I'm fine. Ino, this is Sakura, my secretary. Sakura, this is my wife. Ino and Naruto pointed to one another and saw Sakura move in closer, extending her hand out in greet. Ino looked at her hand as if it had been spit on when she felt Naruto's foot kick her softly under the table. Nice to meet you. Ino shook her hand slowly, feeling the coldness on her palm. Ino felt Sakura lose grip on her hand quick, letting it fall in midair, but she caught herself and looked back over to Naruto with narrowed eyes. I haven't heard much about you. I thought Hinata was his secretary. Ino crossed her arms and fell back into her seat. I'm his temp, right, Mr. Uzumaki? I've worked with him a while and he seems like a nice guy. Sakura moved her head sideways to spot Naruto Jr. nibbling on his fingers. Is that your son you told me about? He's so cute. Sakura walked around Ino's chair to pick Naruto Jr. off the seat and into her arms. He's going to grow up being a big player like his dad, don't you agree? Sakura chuckled while Ino looked on in disgust. Yeah, sure. I see where he gets his handsome look from. Sakura flashed Naruto a smile with a wink while Ino whipped her head over at him and raised his eyebrow. Well, I have to get back to work. Sakura had Naruto Jr. on his cheek and placed him back down on the seat and walked around Ino's seat again. If you need me for anything, Mr. Uzumaki, just hit me up. You know how I am, Sakura replied in a seductive way, strutting her as she walked out the office. Nice meeting you, Ino. Nice meeting you to Sakura. It's Sakura. Sakura stopped in her tracks and turned back around to see Ino's face paralyzed. Sakura did not know whether she had mispronounced her name on purpose or accidentally, but either way, Ino will know her name correctly by the end of the day. She was going to know who was the bigger around here. That's what I said. No, you said Sakura. My name's Sakura. Sakura flashed a sinister smile towards Ino, who faked a smile back at her. We got that? Sakura turned back around and headed out the door with Ino's eyes glued to her with hate. What? Naruto asked, putting his hands up in daze. Come on, Ino. It's your first day meeting her. You'll like her by the end of the day, alright, just calm down. She's plain and whatever. You know you look better than her, Ino. Naruto tried to smile, but seeing the scene they just had made him nervous of how they were really going to get along. That girl can be made things, but she's not plain. She had Naruto on the cheek. Ino stood up and carried their son in her arms, wiping her hand over the spot where Sakura had placed her. That whore, you better not be up to anything with her, Naruto. When is she leaving? Ino asked, becoming full of anger. Soon, I guess. I'll call Hinata later to see how she doing. Come over here. Naruto motioned her. Ino placed the small blonde on the chair again and waited to see if he would fall asleep. Seconds later his eyes were closing up. What? Ino pouted her and sat on Naruto's lap, Naruto pulling her closer into a peonate. Ino moaned, leaving her anger behind as Naruto's tongue entered her mouth, squirming around with her own. Ino moved her body between his, running her hand down on the bulge sticking out his business S, rubbing up and down on his member. Ino, get on the desk. Naruto managed to say trough and sat Ino down on the desk, moving his hands up her back while she yanked on his shirt. Both blondes were hot and horny and needed each other from what Sakura had managed to start. Just then the door swung open and here she came. Oh. I'm sorry, I hope I didn't ruin something. Sakura stepped into the room with the same evil smile she had left with. I was just wondering if you still want me to type those papers for your client? Sakura knew what she was doing, and she managed to do it again. Ruin their precious time together. Yes, Sakura, knock on the door next time. Yes, sir. I think I learned my lesson. Sakura couldn't help but chuckle a bit at the sight in front of her, together in each other's arms about to have on his desk. She sure as hell won having that. Oh, and Ino. Sakura waited till she had Ino's eyes locked with hers. She rolled them around before looking at her. It was nice meeting you again. I think we're going to get along just fine. I got my eyes on you. Naruto, aren't you going to do something about her? She just walked in like this was her office. Ino got off Naruto's desk as she saw Sakura head back out the office. Ino's eyes were narrowed down at Naruto, who was fixing his dress shirt. Ino, calm down. She just didn't know. I'll talk to her, okay? Naruto stood up and gave her a warm hug, her forehead softly and heading over to Naruto Jr., who was fast asleep. Let's go walk around the office. Get some breakfast or something since I don't have many papers today. Naruto lifted his son over his shoulder and headed out the office. Come on. We'll drop off Naruto Jr. at the children's center. Naruto thought to the floor that Tsunade had built surprisingly for her workers' children just in case they needed some help with them, and had no one to take care of them. Leaving so soon? The words hit both blondes, they turned to see Sakura coming out of an office room with a stack of papers in her hands. She walked over to her desk and sat the stack up on top of it. It was nice meeting you. Sakura looked over in Ino's direction. It was nice meeting you. I was talking about your son. Sakura chuckled softly and walked around Ino, moving closer to Naruto and his son. She pinched the toddler's cheek ever so softly. I wish I had a son like yours. Can I have him? Sakura chuckled, Naruto never knowing she was dead serious. Let's get going, Naruto. We'll drop him off downstairs. It's time we have some alone time today, since people like walking into offices without knocking. Ino rolled her eyes, then turned her back on them, storming off towards the elevator. Did I do something wrong? Sakura put on the sweet innocence girl routine. I'm sorry if I offended her. I didn't mean to. Sakura looked down at the baby again, brushing off the frown with a cheery smile. By Naruto Jr. Ino's like that with everyone. I'll see ya around. Sakura. Naruto waved at her before trying to get to Ino, who was boarding the elevator already. Sakura watched him get in the elevator and couldn't help but smile at the foolish Ino. I get what I want, Ino. You just don't know it yet. Are you sure we can trust our child with them? That lady giving me a bad look. Ino stepped out the elevator with Naruto next to her. The woman she was referring to, the dirty blonde sitting behind the large counter at the far end of the room that had the floor carpeted with brown rug and a section over at the corner with tons of pillows. Relax, Ino. Naruto walked over to the counter and smiled at the woman, who continued frowning at both of them. We're here to drop off our son for a couple of hours. Naruto's smile faded away as he saw the emotionless expression on the woman's face. Alright, give me both of your names. His and yours. The woman rolled her eyes at the blonde and took out her clipboard that had a pen attached to it. Ino was about 1 second of jumping over the counter and setting the woman straight, but the small amount of control made her keep herself from losing it. Naruto Uzumaki and Naruto Jr. Alright, just go leave him over there. The woman pointed to a small room that had many cribs in it. We'll take care of him, sir. The woman forced a smile but failed. The two blondes walked over to the room and saw the different children sleeping in the designer cribs. Naruto laid his son down and admired him sleeping for a minute before looking over at Ino, who was smiling down at their son, ready to go. So what was with you and Sakura? What the hell you two have going on that you both need to be talking so close to each other's faces? Ino stormed out the elevator and onto the lobby floor, turning around and hitting Naruto on the chest. Ino, relax. Sakura's my secretary. What do you expect? Not to talk to he at all? Naruto interlocked his fingers with hers and proceeded walking out the building, with everyone watching, the angered Ino complaining at his side. Whatever, Naruto, let's get something to eat before I lose my appetite. On that, Ino rolled her eyes at the thought of seeing her again when they came back. You got the car keys? Ino asked, looking over at Naruto, who was searching all his pockets. Naruto slapped his forehead before looking back up at Ino. I think I left them on my desk. I'll go get them. Wait out there next to the car while I go up to get them. Naruto eyed her soft before running over to the elevator and disappearing behind the steel doors. Come on, you stupid elevator. Sakura tapped her high heels on the marble floor impatiently as she waited for the elevator. About damn time. Sakura moved a step back as she saw one of the two elevator doors open. Sakura stepped inside and awaited as the doors closed, hearing the other pair of steel doors open up. Naruto coming out that elevator while she was heading down. Where are those stupid keys? Naruto ran into his office, searching everywhere for the keys but found nothing. Finally he found them under his desk and grabbed them quickly, standing back up to find Naruto Jr.'s favorite blanket still on the chair he had Ino place him on. Let me drop this off for him. Where is he? Sakura asked herself as the steel doors slid open, revealing the room with brown rug and a corner full of pillows. Sakura took steps forward until the steel doors closed behind her. She couldn't hear anything and wondered how good this children's daycare really was. Such bad service. Sakura took slow steps towards the room where she saw the many cribs at. Hello, Naruto Jr. Sakura searched the cribs until she found the crib with the familiar baby face. You're so handsome, like your father. Sakura moved her hand slowly on his cheek while looking over at the other babies she found uninteresting. You don't like that mean old mom of yours, do you? Sakura asked as if he was awake and could easily answer her. Sakura jumped, almost tripping on her high heels when she heard the noise of the elevator doors slide open. Hearing footsteps walking her direction, Sakura hid behind the room's open door, in her breath so she could eat between the closed space. When she saw the familiar man walk into the room and hover over Naruto Jr., she almost felt like jumping out to surprise him but maintained her composure. Came to give you this. Sport. Naruto placed the baby blue blanket over Naruto Jr.'s body, at him on the cheek, then stood back up to admire the seed he had managed to make into this world. Love you, son. Naruto smiled back down at his creation, then headed out. Sakura accidentally pushed the door a bit, making an awful creak sound and getting Naruto's attention. Someone here? Naruto looked around to see no one but the dirty blonde woman coming out the bathroom near the counter. She rolled her eyes at him and sat back at the counter where she worked on some papers. You better take care of my son, Naruto added with hostile words, then pressed the down button on the elevator. Hearing the doors slide, he walked into the small space and slid the doors closed. Sakura looked over around the door to see if he was gone by Naruto Jr. I'll be your future mother very soon. She headed out the room, but not before getting stopped by the woman in charge. Sakura knew she had to be quick if she wanted to avoid trouble. The lady quickly asked her, "Excuse me, miss, you're not allowed here unless your name's down on my clipboard," the lady said twice, but Sakura ignored her, walking over to the elevator that wasn't coming fast enough for her. Sakura mumbled and looked over to the side to find a steel door with a handle, the stairs. Sakura rushed over to the door and pressed open the door, closing it behind her and running down the long steps, trying so not to trip on her heels and send herself into a coma. I got them. Naruto shook the keys between his fingers. Are you ready? Naruto asked Ino, who had her arms crossed, narrowed eyes at him. What's with the look? Get in. Naruto unlocked the truck's door and hopped in, watching Ino get in the pinger seat. Ugh, about time. Sakura stepped off the last stair, opening the door to a crack and poked her head out to see both blondes get in their vehicle. Wonder where you two think you're going? Sakura narrowed her eyes with a smile attached to her face. She saw the truck pull out the parking spot and drive off towards the exit. She ran over to her black Lexus where she got in and started her car. Wait up, you have company coming with you. Sakura smiled and pulled the car back out. So where do you want to go eat, Ino? Naruto asked, waving at Tenten as the truck sped off onto the street. Or should it be a surprise? Naruto awaited her answer, but Ino was still fuming with anger at Sakura. Don't tell me you're still mad at the thing with Sakura? Naruto shook his head. I'm not mad, besides you're going to get it later. I'll get my payback later. Ino smiled sinisterly at him, making his member inside his S jump at her words. Let's go eat at that new place I told you about. Ino gave him the instructions to the place, and he followed them. Turning a corner, he managed to spot a parking place in front of the restaurant where he parked his truck. I'm so hungry. Naruto smiled at Ino, trying to unbuckle his seatbelt and hopping out the car. And you know how I get when I eat? I won't stop till it's all gone. Naruto winked at his wife, who blushed at his dirty message. Come on, Ino. Such a fancy place. Ino looked around at all the china around the walls and on tables. She looked down at the marble table that was in front of them where Naruto stood on the other side seated, looking around in awe as well. What are you going to order? Ino asked, looking at the small menus that a waitress had given them on the way in the restaurant. I'm thinking your favorite, Ramon. Ino smiled at her husband. You seem a bit tense. Ino stood up and got out of her side of the booth and made her way next to him. Sakura made her way over to them, smiling down at both of them. Ino removed her hand from her husband's lap and placed it on top of the marble table. Sakura eyed Ino's hand and spotted what she was doing. If it isn't Mr. and Mrs. Uzumaki, do you mind if I join you? Sakura saw Ino shake her head slowly no, but Naruto told her to go right ahead. Seems like we're going to have a very good breakfast, don't you think? Yeah, I guess. Naruto nodded his head without looking at Sakura's eyes. Ino glared down the pink-haired woman in front of her with a huge grin towards her husband. The jealousy inside her was increasing every second the grin stayed attached to her face. Excuse me for a minute. Ino couldn't take it anymore. True, it was only about 3 minutes since they were with Sakura, but already she had become sick with the flirtatious of Sakura that was spreading in front of her. Where you going? Get off me, Naruto. Ino swiped her arm away from Naruto's grasp and narrowed her eyes down at him. I'm going to the bathroom. I think that's enough for you to get to flirt. I mean talk to Sakura. Ino mispronounced her name on purpose this time and got out the small booth and asking a female waiter for the location of the bathroom, heading at the back of the restaurant. She seems a bit angry at me? Or is it just me? I should go. Sakura frowned and proceeded to head out the booth when Naruto grabbed her gently by the wrist. The frown now crept into a sinister smile. Yes, Mr. Uzumaki? Sakura asked, standing out of the booth and trying her best to hide the joy of his touch. No, Sakura, Ino's just being crazy. We want you to eat with us. She was just talking about how nice you were before you got here. Naruto lied to her, trying to put up a warm smile for her. Please sit. It's my treat, okay? Naruto waited a couple of seconds before she smiled back at him. Well, alright. Thank you, Naruto. You're really. Sakura sat back in the booth, getting comfortable in her seat and looking back up into Naruto's baby blue eyes. Sweet Sakura winked at him. This caused a bright red to come to his cheeks. I almost wished I had a man like you. Sakura's eyes strolled down Naruto's chest to the table. I. Just Sakura turned her head to the left and put her fingertips to the corner of her right eye. What? Just what? Naruto asked, seeing Sakura's bright green eyes turn watery. Sakura, what's wrong? What's the problem? Naruto asked, leaning in closer and getting a napkin ready for Sakura's tears. Then apparently Sakura took the napkin he was offering her and wiped both her eyes with on good wipe. I just broke up with my ex-boyfriend. He was a real jerk, and just used me for his pleasurable needs. That's why I wished I had a man like you. Nice, sweet. And Sakura took a minute to let him take everything in. Handsome, she smiled at him, moving her right hand to the table, touching his fingers slowly. Well, Sakura, if it makes you feel any better, Naruto looked around to see if Ino was coming back. You'll be the first person I'll be with if I was single. Naruto smiled at her, making her blush, making her think of her next move with him. You're just saying that? Sakura looked down, wiping away a tear coming down her face. She felt his warm hand on top of hers, moving his fingers at a slow motion. Thank you, Naruto. Sakura looked up at him and smiled, grabbing a napkin and wiping away her teary eyes. Let's just try to enjoy our food. Sakura smiled at Ino, who was coming out from the back. Ino saw Naruto's hand jump off Sakura's palm as soon as he looked up at her. Oh hey Ino, sit, the food's on the way. Naruto faked a smile at her, even though on the inside he was scared at how much she had actually saw of this little scene. I bet it is. Ino rolled her eyes and sat next to him. The whole breakfast was in total silence due to Sakura, who smiled and winked at Naruto every time she had a chance to do it while Ino was munching down her food. Naruto paid the check and they were gone. Thanks a lot for the breakfast, Mr. Uzumaki. I'm going to have to repay you somehow. Sakura's evil smirk came back to her face when Ino looked up at her outside of the restaurant. But until then, I'll see you at the office, Mr. Uzumaki. Sakura waved at Naruto and walked over to Ino, who was standing next to his truck. Nice meeting you as well. Sakura hugged Ino gently while Ino just stood there. Bye-bye. Ino watched Sakura click-clack her high heels over to the parking lot. Why so quiet, Ino? Naruto asked, driving back onto the street. Did Sakura bother you or something? Naruto asked again, glancing over at Ino, who was pouting her with her arms crossed, obviously angered at Sakura's flirting. Did Sakura bother me or something? Why don't you ask her flirty secretary, Naruto? Ino whipped her neck in his direction. Oh, I mean Mr. Uzumaki. Why is she so touchy-touchy with you, Naruto? Do you and her have something going on behind my back? Ino looked back out the window and remained silent the entire ride to his office. Ino, wait up! Naruto parked his car in his parking spot and watched Ino jump out the truck and rush over to the sliding doors. Damn, Ino, hold on! Naruto hollered over to her, but it was no use as she saw her press the button for one of the two elevators and waited as it came down. Naruto, thinking he had time before the elevator came, walked over to the entrance just to see Ino walk into the elevator with the doors sliding closed as he got to it. Naruto hit the front of the elevator with his fist, fuming with Ino's ways. Damn! Naruto walked over to the elevator next to the elevator he was standing next to and pressed the up button. He waited a second before he heard the steel doors slide open, completely empty inside. He stepped on board, not knowing what was about to happen next as he pressed the floor that Naruto Jr. was being kept at. You're so cute, Jr. Sakura caressed the baby blonde's hand softly with the tip of her fingers, feeling his pulse on his chest as he was fast asleep. Sakura looked around to see if the lady at the counter had came back, but she was yet to be found. Her fingers ran back up to Naruto Jr.'s face, touching his soft and touching his cute little nose. The pink-haired female eyed her, what she thought, her soon-to-be son. Sakura bent over the carriage to give the baby blonde a when she heard of the elevator door slide open with footsteps coming up close and quick to the room she was in. Sakura jumped up and gave one quick look back down at Naruto Jr. before jumping behind the room's door, moving back as close as the wall allowed her to. Her eyes wandered to the guy who had came in, and just like that, Naruto was in her path once again. Damn, seems like you come quick. Sakura moved from behind the door when she saw Naruto come into the room with eagerness. He jumped when his eyes landed on her evil smile. Came here to check on your son. I was heading upstairs now. Sakura moved closer to the frightened blonde. Yeah. Thanks for the checkup, but you can head upstairs now. Sakura. Naruto moved back to the carriage with his back against it as his eyes looked down at her hands that were now moving closer to his chest. Sakura, What are you? Naruto was stopped when she pressed her finger to his. She whispered, moving closer to his body and grinding up against him. Me, Mr. Uzumaki. Sakura's words were low and seductive, but it hit Naruto like a loud yell to his ear. He tried to move back, but Sakura was quick and slammed him against the wall. Me in this room, Mr. Uzumaki. You know you want to, she said, due to the bricks she was feeling press against her lower waist. Why should I? We have a thing going on. She might as well find out. Sakura chuckled softly but glared at Naruto when he had gripped her arm in a rough way. Get off me! What the hell is your problem? Sakura tried to force him away from her, but he pushed her in back of the door she was first hiding in. Stay quiet, don't make a goddamn sound, you hear? Naruto whispered over to her and ran back over to the crib where Naruto Jr. was still fast asleep. Naruto looked down at him and pretended as if he hadn't done a thing as Ino walked through the doors. He saw her from the corner of his eyes, but acted as if he didn't. Naruto Ino spoke in a soft manner, looking down at the floor with sadness. I'm sorry for overreacting at the restaurant, it was my fault. I just can't stand Sakura. That Ino's words had Sakura's ears hooked, who looked on as she got closer to the man she wanted. Naruto looked up at Ino with confusion, looking straight ahead at Ino but really looking over at Sakura, who was smiling over at him. Oh, Ino, it's fine. I told you me and Sakura don't have nothing together, she's just my secretary. Naruto's words hit Sakura like a brick. Her eyes began to water and Naruto took notice of this. Come here. Naruto leaned over to the blonde and wrapped his arms around her. She's nothing. Naruto looked over at Sakura, who had her hand over her mouth, trying to force back the loud cry. I went to your office to check if you had gone there first, so I didn't see you and came here. You seen Sakura? Ino asked Naruto in his ear, looking down at their baby as they hugged for a minute. Naruto took a second before answering, wondering if Ino knew Sakura was right behind the door. They were inches away. With that, he took his chance. No, I haven't. Why? Just asking. Didn't see her upstairs. The Ino felt something press up against her between her and broke the embrace. I guess I made you a bit happy? Ino chuckled at his member poking out from his S. If you want. Ino replayed what Sakura did and began to run her fingers down his chest. Slut, Sakura whispered with hate, not knowing her mind had spoke out loud. Ino began to turn around, but Naruto grabbed her head as fast as he could and pulled her into a, opening his eyes and giving her a dirty look as he continued to Ino, making her moan trough out the room. I could have swore I heard her voice. Ino, these just getting to your head, she'll be gone soon. Naruto eyed Ino once more and pulled her close. We'll save this for later. I'll meet you upstairs in a minute. Naruto began to walk her out while giving her yes, not giving her a chance to turn around and see Sakura looking at them behind the door. I want to spend a minute with our son. Naruto broke the once he knew he had guided her out the room. Alright, I'll see you upstairs. Ino gave him one last and began to walk over to the elevators with Naruto's eyes glued to her back. Once he knew she was far enough, Naruto moved the door from Sakura and pulled her out into the open. What the hell is wrong with you? You want me and Ino to divorce over you? From this point on, Sakura, you will just be my secretary and I am who you work for, got that? Naruto ordered with authority. Apparently Sakura hadn't got trough his words as she began to chuckle when she heard the click-clack against the floor coming close to the room once again. Shit! Naruto pushed Sakura back behind the door and closed it near her body, seeing Ino walk in a second later. Ino, what happened? Why you came back? Naruto asked out of breath, feeling his body shake but acting as if nothing had happened. Ino eyed him down slowly, scaring the hell out of Naruto, who surely thought he was caught in the act, and it was just seconds before she found out about Sakura. Standing after I'm done with her, Sakura winked at him and walked away from the room, leaving Naruto to his thoughts. His thoughts were running wild about what she had done, what they had done. Most importantly, what did Sakura have in store for Ino? Thanks for watching this video. You really enjoy this video. Like, subscribe, and comment down below, and turn on that bell notification. Don't forget to support and follow the Baddest King for writing that awesome fanfic, and also make sure to comment on this story, link in the description. See you in the next video. Goodbye.